Hello and welcome back to Life According to a Middle Schooler. Thank you guys so much for... Whoa, this mic has an echo filter? No way.
What the heck is going on here? Who are you? How did you get in here?
Oh my gosh, no way, it's Clark from Life According to a Middle Schooler. I'm your biggest fan.
No, stop. That's not possible. You can't be my biggest fan. Nobody even listens to this podcast anyway.
That's not true. Look, you have over 2,000 listeners.
Wow, that's crazy. You mean, I guess we're going to have a special listener milestone episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Oh, okay then. Wait, how did you get in my house? How do you know my address?
We don't have to talk about that.
Alrighty guys, so here we are on episode 20 of Life According to a Middle Schooler, celebrating 2,000 listens with a special episode that I'm doing with one of my high school friend.
Hi.
Thank you guys so much for the massive milestone. It's absolutely insane. We've been doing so well lately. It's insane how well the YouTube channel has been doing. And I want to thank you guys so much for the recent support. If you haven't, please do check out the YouTube channel. I post tons of bonus content there. Like, I did a studio tour. I've done all kinds of stuff. And I'm actually going to be starting a series where I teach you guys how to start your own podcast. Anyway, if you are listening on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe, because something like 94% of you guys listening on YouTube are unsubscribed, and subscribing makes me happy and school friend happy.
I'm happy when you guys subscribe.
Anyway, please be sure to like the episode and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, as well as check out our email, Instagram, which I promise I'm going to start posting on that soon, as well as the website and the other podcast connections.
And now, let's get into the episode.
Just so you guys know, this episode is not scripted, so if either of us say anything really stupid that makes no sense, that's why.
Alright, so today, me and Clark are going to be talking about what it's like having a parent that is a doctor.
Yeah, and this is funny. It's actually a topic that one of your parents recommended, right?
Yeah, it actually is.
Alright, so let's start. I think I'm really stuck here because I don't know where to start, and as I said, this episode is completely unscripted. I guess if we start, like, chronologically, I guess just, like, from birth, right? Our parents, my mom being a pediatrician and yours being a family physician, They know how to, like, take care of kids, I guess. They have the experience, and my mom was taking care of kids way before I was born. So she understood, like, everything about, like, I don't know how to say this, but everything about, how a child grows up, and she knew all that. And, like, she knew how to be a parent.
Yeah, and that's actually really funny that you say that, because, like, ever since a young age, my mom has been like, oh, he has strep throat. We go into the doctor, and both of my tests are negative, and, like, 2 days later, I get tested again, and I do have strep throat. Like, it's crazy how much she's telling me about, like, learning from med school, so it's nuts how she can really see me, understand me, and then take that, like, being my mom and turn it into, like, the doctor that she is.
Right, like, that's funny, because I don't remember a time, I've had strep throat a couple times. I had croup when I was a baby. And my mom's always been the one who, like, recognized it, just like you said, recognized it immediately.
Yeah.
And knows how to take care of me, right? We don't have to go to a doctor, or we don't have to go to the hospital or anything. There's been times where, like, my brother got a slit through his chin and needed stitches. My mom took care of that. We didn't have to go to the hospital. She used Dermabond and fixed it all up. And it's really funny because, like, they have that knowledge. They know what to do. They're just in a situation where they see this every day, right?
My God, my brother, we were actually hiking with a few friends, and he fell down, and a thorn punctured his chin, and then something else went in. But we didn't know that, and he was in so much pain he couldn't talk. And my mom was like, oh my God, there's something in his chin. And she pulled that out. And, like, my brother also has, like, a few medical conditions, which doctors were, like, even thinking weren't a thing. And my mom was like, yeah, like, something's happening here.
Yeah, and actually on the topic of, like, knowing what to do in these situations, knowing, like, to use Dermabond when my brother sits his chin open, on that same topic, I think they're just how do I say this? They're so smart. Um, Anybody who can go to college for I don't know how many years. My mom was in
Mine was
college
like
for a while.
eight or nine.
Yeah, 8 years, couple like 4 years for your master's, 4 years for your um in residency or whatever. But like my mom's very smart, and not only does she have the medical knowledge, like she knows what to do in these situations, she knows like what medicine to give me, but she also, she's just smart in general. Like I can have homework questions, I could just ask her a random question, and yeah.
Same. I was about to talk about another example where I I needed a numbing medicine for my tooth because like I had just gotten like a big tooth removal, and I dropped the bottle on the kitchen. Sorry, not in the kitchen, the bathroom sink, and it didn't break, but it splashed, and some of it got in my eye. But she was able to actually look at like the back, and then like also being a doctor, it gives you that control and calmness in, if that's a word, in like a situation. And she like calmly told me I was gonna be fine. She's used to working with those people who are so anxious about something happening, and like being able to keep them okay.
Now that's actually funny you mentioned that, because one of the things that I was thinking about talking about before this episode, um, the amount of times my mother has stuck a flashlight down my throat or in my ear to check if I was okay. But on the same topic, like our safety, I guess, their sense of like keeping us safe. Um, like I don't know, I wore a seat. I had a booster seat until I was like 10. It's kind of sad to talk about. I didn't sit in the front seat when I was 13, and I had friends who sat in the front seat when they were 6. Like all these things, like they had the sense of safety. We eat well. We eat a lot of organic food. We're very healthy. We're a healthy family, and I think that all of this is owed to the doctor side of the family.
And it's like the overprotectiveness of the parents is just like you can't explain it, but it ends up like really helping me in the long run. Like honestly, my parents have just been letting me like play video games now, and it by only introducing it to me now, I've really gotten to look at the outside world and take away so many things that other people might not. And I'm really thankful to my parents, even my dad, who isn't necessarily a doctor, but giving me that opportunity to not just like be in the quote unquote norm, but to experience different things altogether.
Yeah, like on the same topic, when you were talking about technology, I actually talked about this in my technology episode. Um, I'm like the only person in the grade without a phone right now. I gotta wait till high school, so I got a couple more months. And my brother didn't get his phone until he was in high school. And I think that's another thing, like not introducing us to technology, allowing us to understand like the outside world, like you said. And another thing that I was thinking of that's a little bit on the same topic is like they see the way my dad explains it is they see the 1%, which by that they mean they see the people who break their arms playing soccer versus the 99% of people who don't. And on the same topic of safety, they like because they see that different demographic, they're a lot more protective, and they know how to react in that situations, and they always like have that quick, is something wrong, like that kind of quick reaction.
Yeah, and you can tell when something happens at work, like not necessarily bad, but you can tell that sometimes they see things that other people wouldn't, and it just makes me feel like happy and sad that they see the 1%, because now I know that all the people that I'm constantly with are going to be safe, like when my parents are around, and I can feel like I'm in that kind of protective bubble, and it feels great. And even when I'm alone, like my parents have really taught me to make good choices, and that's helped me so much. So yeah, I mean, I just thank you.
Another thing, really quickly, I gotta say, there was never faking sick to skip school because they
Never.
knew every single symptom. It's not like they go on WebMD and look for your symptoms. They know exactly if you're sick or not. And I was also gonna mention, I haven't been really open about this on the podcast, but I'm actually planning to talk a little more about it because I'm doing a mental health series soon. But I have some mental health struggles. I deal with anxiety, and those things. And my mom has been by my side. The last 4 years of my life I've been really struggling on the mental health side of things. And she's the one who's always there, when I have a mental breakdown at night. She's the one who's always there, rubbing my back. She does meditations with me. We do meditations a lot. And she's there to help me cope with that. And I think that that's really beneficial towards my mental health. And she's the one who knows what she's doing, and she makes sure that I'm keeping healthy on my mental side.
Man, I couldn't have explained it better.
Now, one thing, because our parents, or specifically our doctor parents, are good. They're very caring and they're by our side. One thing is they're not always able to be there because their schedule is so busy. I don't know. People say, well, doctors are overpaid, blah 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 blah. Have you seen how much a doctor works? My mom ends her work day at 6 o'clock. She sees her last patient, and yet she stays at work until 8. She comes home at 8:30, and then she does her notes because they don't just see patients. They got to fill out these charts. They got to do their notes. So they got to do all this stuff. And she works a lot. She has a busy schedule. So despite her always being there to take care of me, there are a lot of situations missed family events. There were times where she had to work on Christmas or birthdays, her own birthday, things like that. Just her schedule's so busy that there are some missed things there.
The care they put into not only their work but making everybody around them happy is it's mind-blowing. You wouldn't think it was possible until you were actually there. And that's funny that you say that, Clark, because right now, in the past few years, my mom actually has just been doing urgent care and on and off work, but generally not all the way through the day. I do remember that she used to come home pretty late, and I have it ingrained in my memory, okay, mom has Tuesday off, we can play and make clay structures and go outside. But when I started going to school, I remember my mom picking me up, and I was like, yay, mom's here. And so it's really nice that there's somebody that you can feel like you miss, but then when they come back, you feel like they were always there.
And another thing, Tuesdays were the day for us, her day off, and the day mom picks you up, it's oh, let's go. Yeah. No hate to my dad, I love when you pick me up, but the one day a week that my mom picks me up, it's awesome. Another thing is, she actually drives us to school because her office is not too far from our school. And those car rides in the morning, the 20-minute car ride, we listen to music. We listen to my brother has a playlist that we always listen to. We do a word of the day thing, and we do all those really, we pack all the fun activity kind of into this 20-minute segment because we know that it's gonna be one of the only times I see her until 2 minutes before I go to bed. But yeah. Alrighty, guys. So as I just said, I make ads for myself. I'm actually making an ad about the fact that I'm open to ads. So I'm accepting.
FBI, open up!
I'm recording an ad.
You're recording without me?
Yeah, I'm about to tell people that I'm open to sponsorships and they can sponsor me.
And
it's really
cheap. That Bite Thy Thumbs podcast. Didn't they get a ton of listeners from that? They really like that, right?
Yeah, they liked the ad I made for them. Come sit down, we can record together.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
So yeah, basically, I'm accepting sponsorships. If you want to sponsor me, You can sponsor me. There's a Fiverr gig linked below. It's like $5, anywhere from starts at $5. And okay, this is getting obnoxious. This noise is loud.
I like stock music.
Okay, yeah, sure. And yeah, you want to sponsor me? Click the link below. It's really cheap and it helps me out a ton. And all the money I make from it goes directly back into the podcast.
Click the link below, lads.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now we're done with that really, really bad ad. Why did you have to snap during that?
It sounded good.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back into it. So actually, during the break, I was thinking about something. Doctors have an ability to like advance their education and like take on different fields of medicine. Like things like now it's Zoom courses, but then they have like conferences and stuff. And conferences were the best because I know for some people conferences might be boring, but my mom, whenever she had a medical conference, she would have these. It would be at like a hotel, and they would bring my mom up, and they would actually bring me and my dad and my brother, the whole family. We get to stay in a hotel room. We get to do like stuff. We got free breakfast, and while my mom goes to the conferences, we just sit in the hotel room and like watch TV or whatever, play in the arcade or whatever. And it's fun because like I know that I'm supposed to be talking about doctors, but for me this was really fun. I enjoyed this because I got to stay like in a hotel. Like I didn't have to be like in the regular home. And I got to, the conference place, they give out free stuff. Like all the medical businesses that go to the conferences, they got all their tables set up and they're like, buy our products. They're trying to bribe you into like buying their product. And little did they know, a 12-year-old kid is going to walk up there and he's going to be like, hey, can I have one of your stress balls that says the name of your company on it? That's what I used to do. I got a lot of stress balls from medical conferences. But you get the idea. Like, those conferences and like not only the fact that they can advance their education, but like they can take me with them.
Oh man, I'm so unlucky. My mom actually went to conferences. I'm not unlucky actually. I was pretty young when she went to the conferences, and like you said, it is really cool how like they can pack all of this information into these like small conferences, and then like doctors just perceive it so well. And like you were saying, you got to go to like hotels and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. I was pretty young when my mom went to a conference, I think in like San Diego or something. But anyways, it was really fun to be at home. Like, not that it was any more fun like with her, without her, but it was just so different. Like, kudos to my dad for keeping us all together. Like I knew he would, but it's pretty interesting that our experiences are so different with conferences. And yeah, I think that's like a really good way to talk about like both advanced medical research and what it's like for you.
Now, kind of speaking about like the ability to extend their knowledge in advanced medical research. My mom does this thing like pretty often. It's called rounding. I don't know what it's technically called. Basically, she goes to the hospital, which is like directly across the street from her office. And she goes and like she sees newborn babies that were born like 36 hours ago. She makes sure everything's okay with them. So she's a pediatrician. But my point is, she has the ability because instead of just seeing regular checkups and seeing kids when they're sick, she can like go to the hospital. She can see the newborn babies. And she also, just because she's a pediatrician, doesn't mean that she knows everything about every other field of medicine in the freaking world. Like, I wouldn't say she can go on an operating table and cut somebody up and like replace their appendix or something. But she's like, she knows a lot about other fields of medicine that aren't just like, they're not restricted to their field. Maybe, how do I explain this? Like, professionally they're restricted to their field, but like their knowledge is nowhere near restricted to their field.
Hi, it's me, it's Future Clark. I'm currently in the process of editing this section of the audio, and I realized that the next 8 minutes of the recording were recorded with the echo filter on the mic enabled. and I'm not sure how this managed to happen, why this happened, and I honestly have no way to fix this. It's impossible to reduce echo. I've done everything I can. I've managed to get rid of like half the echo, but it's still pretty bad. I'm really upset about this, and I'm extremely sorry. But yeah, I can't really do much about it.
So we're getting kind of late in the episode. We're like 20 minutes in. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about like how COVID has impacted their work. I know it's impacted everyone, but specifically like how it's impacted them and how that impacted us. I know I said impact a lot there.
Oh my god, you're like profiting off of COVID. Use it so much.
I know I talk about COVID like every other episode, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's important. We're in times, and this is my goal. I'm trying to document like this is gonna become a primary source eventually. People start listening to it. But yeah, so as I was saying, COVID. I think for the first thing about COVID is that they've gotten like specifically my mom is who I'm talking about, but she's gotten so much more stressed. I guess she's been a lot more busy, more stressed just because of the situation, worrying more about the patients that are more at risk or the patients who have COVID, and a lot more work because babies are being born during the pandemic. She's a pediatrician, and just dealing with kids who have COVID and all this stuff, avoiding getting COVID and bringing it home to us. There's just so much stuff to worry about, and I understand why she's so much more stressed since the pandemic struck.
I totally understand what you're going through. Actually, it's funny because it's the opposite. For me, it's my dad who's actually going into work. My mom is doing a lot more virtual and like kind of telehealth visits, but I assume that for everybody there's more stress, but especially for doctors. And so with that stress, there also comes more free time, like in a sense, because my mom, unlike yours, is, like I said, doing virtual meetings more. So she is at home, and I get to kind of talk to her a lot more and see her around.
Yeah, for me that's funny because I'm funny, but
makes sense.
It is kind of the opposite for me, because you may see her more, but I actually see her less. Right, she's at work a lot more, which is interesting that we have that different because. I mean, our parents work in similar, like family physician and pediatrician. They're not too different. But I think that's interesting. My mom has also transitioned into telemedicine, but she does her telehealth appointments from her office just because she has the resources there. And she still spends a ton of time like working, and she still works at home a lot. But yeah. Another impact, like this impact that comes from COVID to them, because we're talking about what it's like for us having doctors that are, having parents that are doctors. I guess it definitely has an impact on us. I see my mom less since COVID. I've also noticed that she's a lot more worried, and that worry, moves into the family, and like it makes us all worried. It makes us worry about her because she's working so much more, and she's more stressed. And I don't like to see my mom stressed. I don't like to see my mom upset. But unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, those scenarios have emerged more often.
So this topic is more about them caring for us, like in the COVID area, and especially during these times. Like I know he and I were the only ones on the soccer team wearing masks, and I mean I know he probably can speak about the experience a lot different than I can, but one thing that I felt was I felt a little bit pressured by other students. Like they're like, you don't gotta wear your mask, right? You don't need to wear your mask. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And then I'm always trying to find an excuse. And another thing about having my mom as like who's also a doctor, is she's like, you can blame things on me all the time. Like she's like, if you're ever in a sticky situation, you can just blame it on me. And that might not just be because she's a doctor, but it could be just because she's a mom.
Yeah, the soccer story is funny for me because we were on the school soccer team together, and nobody wore masks. It wasn't technically required. Only when we were doing like like much more physical, like contact sports and stuff. But he and I, we were the only ones who chose to wear masks. And I mean, I guess my mom definitely said like you should definitely wear a mask, like you have to wear a mask. But I think just because I've been living with her for so long, I know like her personality. I knew like I would have to wear a mask, and I knew because I live with a doctor, like I need to do this to protect her too, because she sees babies, she sees vulnerable children a lot, and us like being safe, we need to protect her. She sees, hundreds of people every week, and that's a lot of contact. So we need to make sure that we're not spreading the virus to her, so she doesn't spread it to all those people.
And then again, like growing up with my mom being a doctor, I've also learned to make those choices and to weigh risk benefit and all that stuff. And it really, really, really comes in handy during the pandemic, because there have been a lot of choices that we've had to make, not just us, but everybody around the world. And knowing that there is somebody backing you up and that can help you make the right choices feels great. Like, not just like, oh, well, I have to wear a mask, nobody else does. You're like, I know why I have to wear a mask, and I know that it's important to protect myself. And another thing, like my mom and I are constantly talking about during the pandemic, is like, I'm not wearing this mask to protect myself. I'm wearing this mask to protect you guys. And I feel like if we just spread that vibe everywhere, people will want to protect each other, because humans aren't just bad.
Yeah, like I guess because we know like we need to be safe, we're trying our best to do what our parents do, and spread like you said, spreading the vibe, like telling people make sure you're wearing your mask, please like stay 6 feet apart from me, like
protect yourself.
Right, all that stuff. It's really important, and I think it's good that we're spreading it, and that's because we're used to our parents like enforcing all this stuff. And actually, we're getting kind of late into the episode. We're like 25 minutes in. We got to do an outro, so I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up. So yeah, let's head to an outro. Alrighty, guys. So that's where we're gonna end the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 20 of Life According to Middle School, and thank you so much for 2,000 listens. That's absolutely insane. That number is massive. And as I said, the YouTube channel is doing really well. And I thank you guys a lot for that. If you are listening on YouTube, please subscribe. Most of you guys listening on YouTube are, not subscribed. There's like a 95% chance that you're not subscribed. And I guess be sure to check out our socials, the Instagram, the website, be sure to email us at sponsor me, because, money.
Also, we forgot to mention it, but happy Mother's Day! So if you are a mom listening, or if you have a mom, then be sure to wish them happy Mother's Day. Love you, Mom!
Yeah, shout out to all the moms out there, specifically my mom. Love you, Mom. But yeah, that's where we're going to end the episode. I'm Clark.
I'm his biggest fan.
And this was episode 20 of Life According to a Middle School, where we talk about what it's like having a parent that is a doctor.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day!
In case you are wondering, yes, all COVID health and safety guidelines were followed, and we used insane precautions while recording this episode.